What is up, friends, and welcome to From the Mind of Dick. I hope everyone's doing well out there, wherever you may be. It's been a few weeks since I put out a solo episode, and I apologize for that. I'll get into that in a little bit. I did do a few episodes of the Useless Information podcast with my friend Danny B, and he's over there at the Conference Call podcast, so please go check him out. He's been doing this for a long time, like I said, and he's my inspiration to do these podcasts. He's why I got into podcasting, and things are doing really well. You guys, a lot of you went and listened to those, and I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate you guys taking your time to listen. I just reached 1,000 total views, not in one podcast episode, just in the last couple of years that I've been doing this, 1,000 plays, which is actually pretty good because I didn't think anyone was going to listen to it at all. So getting to 1,000 is, I'm not no fucking Joe Rogan with millions of views per episode. Or millions of plays per episode, but 1,000 people have taken the time, or 1,000 times someone has taken the time to listen to what I have to say, and that feels really good. I like that. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. It may not seem much, may not seem like much. It really doesn't, but to me, it feels really good. So thank you. But what else has happened in the last couple of weeks? I grew a mustache. I don't know. It's new. I don't know if you guys even notice that about me, but I usually don't have the mustache. It's usually just like basically a 5 o'clock shadow. This thing grows in so damn fucking thick. But what's weird is I'm kind of like Joe Dirt, where my facial hair grows in all white trashy because it doesn't grow in very, very well here or here, like on my cheeks, if you're watching. And it'll grow here, which looks stupid. Neck beards are dumb. But it grows super thick right here. It's like needles right here on my mustache. But my fiance, she convinced me to do it. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. The last time I did it was the same thing. She convinced me to do it. But at the time, I don't know if you guys know this about me. At the time, I decided that I was going to, I don't even like talking about it, but I was going to be a soy boy and I was going to go vegan for a little while. And the reason I was doing it was for health issues because I felt like it would help my stomach a little bit if I wasn't eating so much meat. And I felt like I was eating a lot of meat. And I felt like if I go vegan for a while, and then I watched some stupid documentary about how meat was a carcinogen and just as bad as cigarettes. And I was just like, oh, I got brainwashed. And I said, let's go try being a vegan for a little while. Well, that didn't work out too well. One, I never knew what to cook, so I'd cook the same shit all the time, and it tasted good, but it was getting so boring, and eating beans and fake meat, and then I feel like the fake meat was made in a laboratory, so it really wasn't that good for you. It was just not meat, and it was worse for you than eating meat. It was just so hard to do, and then I felt like it was stupid. And on top of that, I wasn't really getting enough calories. And I lost 60 pounds. So I'll put a picture here of what I look like the last time I grew a mustache. And I think that's why I hated it. And I felt like I look dumb. Every time I look at this picture that I'm showing you right now, if you're watching the video, every time I see this picture, it makes me kind of sick. I'm like, oh my God, who's that guy? And I actually had people asking me if I was okay, if I was sick, because I lost so much weight. I was working at Ralph's at the time, and I had friends at work asking me, are you okay? You lost a lot of weight. And I was, and immediately, I started eating eggs again, needed that protein. And then I started eating chicken, and then I went straight to red meat. Now it's I feel like I want to go carnivore because I love steaks but at the time when I grew a mustache, I had lost 60 pounds. It was bad. It was really bad. But I got rid of that. I stopped doing that really quick. I think it only lasted about 6 months. And once I started eating meat again, started looking better. But this time I grew a mustache, and I think it looks better. I think I look at myself and I look a lot better. I don't feel like I look like that guy. So that's what happened. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Grew a little bit of a mustache. you know? So I don't know. I think it looks tough. Anyway, um, what else? That's pretty much it. I know I told you guys I transferred to another store, and one of the reasons I transferred to the other store is because I felt like there was more opportunity. Well, let me backtrack, because the reason I applied at this, or I transferred to this other store, was because they had an opening for a grocery manager. And if you guys don't know, I used to be a grocery manager for about a year and 8 months. I was making really good money. And for me, and I've said this before, I base my self-esteem and how I feel, how I view myself, is always seems to be based on if I'm providing enough. And when I was a grocery manager, I always had money, on top of paying my child support, on top of like doing whatever I needed to do, I had money. And I was spending like maybe $4,000 a year to travel to LA to see my kids. And that's a lot of money, but it was never a problem. And now I stepped down from that position, which from the first time I got a paycheck, I regretted it. I felt like, what the fuck am I doing? It was hard. It was really hard. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was really tough, but the money was really good. And I was working, it seemed like I spent my life at the store. But the problem with it was that it was making me feel like I wasn't good enough. And that's a problem I have, which is what I wanted to get into a little bit on this episode. I also want to do an album review. I think I might end all my podcasts with an album review. So I really want to do an album review at the end of this episode. So I'll talk about some deep shit for a little bit, and then I'll do a little real quick, maybe like 5-minute album review. I want to start getting back into doing stuff about music. So I don't know if I'm going to start my episodes or finish my episodes with an album review, but it's going to usually be an album that I really like, or something that's a little different that nobody's heard. I feel like nobody's heard. So I'll finish this episode with an album review, but I wanted to get into some stuff a little bit kind of deep, some things that have been going on with me that I wanted to get into because I feel like a lot of people are dealing with this kind of shit. So I wanted to talk about what I go through. And like, I really like to talk about stuff that I go through, because maybe other people are going through it and we can talk about it, right? Or maybe you listen to this and you can say, you can relate, and it'll help you. So I transferred to the store because I wanted to get back into being a grocery manager, and I applied for a position that was available. Now, I was turned down by the district manager. Why? I still don't know. I know that me and him got into it a little bit, just not really got into it, but there were some times where things weren't going right in the store, and I was trying my best to fix it, but it was like we were very shorthanded. I was trying to put everything on my shoulders and do it myself, and it was stupid. And he wanted me to do some things differently, and I said, I'm already doing things that way. The whole problem is that I got not enough help, and I'm not getting any support from my management team. There's just so many things going on, and he wasn't happy with my responses. I think he felt like I needed to just say yes, sir. And that's the kind of person he is you tell him yes, sir, or whatever. And I realized that. And I've gone into, after I stepped down and started realizing things, I realized that I need to go into it with a different mindset, and not get so frustrated, and not snap back at my management. Because that's what I did. I was when they would tell me things, I'd be like, I know what I'm doing, leave me alone, and snap back. Now I just got to be yes, sir, no, sir. You know what I mean? Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And I know that's not the way I am, but in order to improve my career, I have to be that way. And I've realized that. But I applied for this position at this store, and it was turned down. Now, the store really wanted me because I work my ass off and I know what I'm doing. So they put me in the dairy department because it was struggling. And the only reason it was struggling was because people that were working there didn't know what they were doing. And they were never trained. So they did their best. And I taught them now what they need to be doing. And I've turned it around. I had it turned around in about 2 or 3 weeks, but because it wasn't, it's not that hard. It's really easy. But I'm not making the money that I really want to make, and I feel like after, giving money to my kids, child support, and then giving them a little bit of extra, and then paying my bills, and next thing you know, it's like there's nothing left, and I barely can pay my bills. And I hate that feeling. When I was grocery manager, I always had money. I mean, from the first paycheck I got not being a grocery manager, I regretted it. I was like, fuck, this ain't good. So I'm trying to work my way back up. And the way things are going, it's not going the way I want it to go. It's not going as fast as I want it to go. I'm doing everything I possibly can, and things aren't working the way I want them to work. And it's frustrating. And now we were talking about moving to another apartment and downgrading because we really don't need 2 bedrooms. I don't even really use this bedroom anymore except for like podcasting. That's really it. I come in here and play guitar every once in a while, but the music I'm making right now is mostly done sitting on my bed or sitting on the couch in the living room. I don't really use this room. It's not necessary right now. It's just me and the kids visit. You know, they're here maybe 2 months out of the year. And it used to be more than that, but it's like I can't afford to get them here. So they're going to be here for like 2 months over the summer. And I feel like we can deal with a 1 bedroom. It's fine. And the main reason is because we're trying to save for a wedding. Like we want to have a decent wedding, and we're trying to save money. So we're trying to downgrade apartments. And we were discussing that. And because I feel like I'm not contributing enough and we're going to have to come up with a lot of money to get a new apartment, I feel like because I don't really have a lot left at the end of the day after I take care of my kids and I pay my bills and then put gas in my car. And at the end of the month, I barely have enough to help out with rent. And I'm not even doing that. I'm not even paying enough there. And so basically last week, Mr. Depression came back, slapped me right in the face and said, "Look, bitch, I'm still here. You thought I went away for a while, but nah, motherfucker, I'm still here." Came up and slapped me right in the face and put me out for a little while, after trying to do all this stuff and realizing that, I'm trying my best at work and nothing's happening. And for me, it's like, I always feel like I'm not good enough. And this is stemming from like my past, the way people have treated me in my past, the way people have made me feel about myself when I'm not doing enough. I always try and I always survive. I always try to make it work, but it always seems like it's just never enough, and that's why I'm trying to work hard to try to get back into that position. Because when I was doing that, I felt like I was enough. I felt like I was killing it. It was hard. And I was like really like stressed out all the time, but the money was good. And I wasn't stressed out about that. So it's like, what stress do I want? Do I want stress at work, but yet I'm bringing home a lot of money? Or do I want not enough money and have stress in that way? So the way I was raised by my old man was you work your ass off. So that's what I'm going to do. I took a break. I wanted to go to, school, stuff like that. But I realized I'm not a school person. I don't really do school. It's not for me. I wasn't good in high school. Why am I going to think I'm going to do good in like college or anything like that? I know I'm smart as fuck. And I know if I applied myself, I could, but I'm not good at studying. I'm not good at keeping on task. I'm always late. I'm just really not a school person. And I felt like some things happened and it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. So I said, okay, well, I'm putting all my eggs in the basket of Smith's Marketplace in Springville. I'm going to put everything into that basket and work my ass off, and I'm going to be a grocery manager again. And I'm almost there, but it's not happening the way I want it to. And that kind of depressed me. I'm like, things are happening at work where I'm like, this isn't going the way I want it to go. And it kind of put me in a little bit of a depression and realizing like, money isn't the way I want it to be. And it's not happening as fast as I want it to happen. Just everything kind of put me into a depression last week. And that's why I didn't do an episode, because I was planning on doing an episode and releasing it on Friday and it just didn't happen because I was really like paralyzed. Like on my day off, like my days off last week, I really didn't do anything. I kind of just sat there. I literally sat there all day. One of the days, I don't remember which day it was, sat there all day watching TV. Didn't do shit. By the time I got up, all I did was eat snacks and watch TV. Because Mr. Depression came and slapped me in the face. Beat me the fuck down. And you may look at me on social media, you may look at me on this podcast and say, "Hey Dick, you don't look depressed. You don't look like you're sad." Well, yeah, because I'm fucking fake. And I admit that, like, on purpose. I just did an episode saying, everything is rigged and fake. Well, I'm fake. I'm the biggest culprit of being fake, because I portray that everything's going positive, everything's fine. And, a lot of times it's not. Now, I have an amazing partner who puts a lot of that on herself. When I'm depressed, she puts a lot of that on herself, because she feels like she's not being a good partner if I'm sad, if I'm depressed. But it's not her at all. It's my past creeping up on me. And it's something that I'm going to battle with the rest of my life. And I try not to. I really try to keep it down, shove it down in, not deal with it. But it always comes back. It always comes back up, slaps you right in the fucking face. And that's what happened last week. And we got into a little, mild argument. We never yell at each other. We never like fight, which is great, because I spent, 20 plus years fighting with women, and we've never, in 7+ years, we've never had like a fight. We've had arguments, we've had disagreements. We've never had a fight where we're yelling and screaming at each other. Like, it's never been that way. Sometimes we do have disagreements, though, and it happens in any relationship. It's going to happen. But I have the most amazing fiance, the most amazing partner in this life, and we are going to get married, and we are going to spend the rest of our lives together. And that's, has nothing to do with her. It has nothing to do with that. It's just my past. It's how I feel about myself when I'm not providing what needs to be provided. That's how I start feeling about myself. And it happened last week, where I just kind of like, I was beat down, we want to get another apartment, because we want to downgrade to save money. It's simple as that. And it still takes a lot of money to get into another apartment, to move apartments. We're trying to figure out what the hell we want to do. So it's just kind of tough, and we think we got to figure it out now. It's kind of happening, but we're not going to move in together until we get married, which, I totally respect. That's, what she wants to do. And I totally respect that. So the plan is to get another place for like another year. We're planning on getting married next March, and we're going to, live together for a couple months after we get married, and then get like our final place, not a final, but a place we're going to get for a few years. Until we can like buy a house. And so my plan is to like become a grocery manager again. And then we'll both be making really, really good money. And then we can put money away to buy a house. We can get a nicer apartment, in, next June together, and something that we both like. And so I'm trying to find just like a little cheap apartment, little 1-bedroom, so that I can just have a place to shit and sleep. I don't need anything special. So we're trying to find something like that. And we pretty much found it. But guys, like, I am fake in the sense that I go through a lot in my head, and I don't share it with people. Every day I'm battling. And I used to battle with, I used to battle it. I've been battling this stuff for years, but I used to just forget about it with a bottle, right? I used to just drink. And it went from drinking beers, sitting on the back balcony of my apartment, drinking beers and watching cars go by. That was how I started dealing with it. And then to where I had to drink more because it wasn't enough. And I had to drink hard liquor because battling the depression wasn't enough. And when I made this change and decided that I wanted to quit, I had to realize that you have to sit with your emotions. And when you get depressed, you can't hide it. You can't drown it in a bottle. You have to fucking feel it. I don't like feeling it. I don't like feeling these things. It's not fun. And it gets pretty rough, and sometimes it just knocks me down. And my life isn't that bad though, but I'm fake, I mean, like, let me run this by you. Let me show you how fake I am. Okay. So when podcasters, most podcasters, they wear headphones, right? Like, I don't like wearing headphones. I don't need them. I'm not using them. They're not serving a purpose. I did wear them in the useless information because when I'm talking to somebody else that's on here, then I can't hear them through it causes like feedback and stuff. So I do need to hear them through the headphones. So I'll wear it for that. So I understand when people are doing a podcast with other people, like they need to hear other people. When I'm by myself, I don't need them. But like, so podcasters always wear headphones and they always have a microphone like right here in their face, right? They're always talking right here in their face. I don't get that. This microphone isn't even hooked up. It just looks cool because that's what podcasters do. That's how fake I am. Look, it's not hooked up. I'm not even using it. It just looks cool. Now it works, but I don't use it for podcasting because I have this one that is sitting right here that's out of vision. But I do this because I see all the other podcasters doing it and they're like with the microphone right in the face. But I don't need it. It's not even on. I experimented with some fake backgrounds and I might have to do that when I move. I don't know how the background's going to be. I don't know where I'm going to be podcasting from, but I want the visual, and every once in a while you'll see this here, but it's not even plugged in. This is the one I used to use when I first started, but I just didn't like how the audio sounded, but this one sounds way better. So that's one way I'm fake. I don't know. But I pretend that everything's going super well in my life. And it's only because I don't want to bring you guys down with me, you know? I'm not suicidal. I'm not anywhere near that, but I just get really down. And sometimes I don't know how to deal with it. And so I just basically, I'm paralyzed and I sit there and watch TV all day, or I sit there and just do nothing. And sometimes I just need a couple days. And then I need to talk it out with my fiance. We need to figure out what's going on. And she makes me feel better. And then everything's fine. But it's rough sometimes, guys. And I know we're all going through it. You know, I know we're all going through it. But even though I portray that my life is all rainbow farts and unicorn piss, like it's not. It's really, really not. But it's fine. And it's going to get better. And life shouldn't be all about like money. It really shouldn't be all about money. It's stupid. Like when your whole life and like the reason you're fighting with your spouse is like because of money, dude, it's stupid. Like you need to stop. And I try to tell myself that, but it really is hard. Maybe I need therapy. I tried therapy, but it just didn't work for me. I'm old school, right? I'm Gen X. We don't need fucking therapy. But sometimes I feel like maybe I should. But anyway, guys, if you're going through it, hit me up. Like I've had a few people, like I did post that reel that said, hey, I haven't helped anybody. And a couple people reached out to me and said, hey, I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling with alcohol. And I feel like I've made a little bit of difference, you know? And so reach out, guys. Like call me. You got my number, or hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, whatever, you know, because I'm struggling with it too. And sometimes I need to talk to somebody. Right now I have like someone who's not only got a degree in psychology who can help me out with a lot of things, but someone who loves me and who cares about me, I can talk to about things. And that's my therapy. Right. And I'm lucky enough to have her, but if you guys need something, man, just like seriously, like talk to me, man. So let's get on to the good part. I'll end, the last like 5-6 minutes with an album review because I really want to do this. I want to start talking about music. The album that I wanted to talk about today on this episode was something that we talked about on Useless Information, and I sent it to Danny B, and he wasn't a fan because it's kind of different. And I guess he said it was cool, but it was like he doesn't like seeing white guys trying to sing like reggae. Well, I'm going to say a few things about that. The album that I wanted to talk about is the Aurora Wave album. Okay. Put it like here. This is what it is. Now the Aurora Wave album, I'll tell you a quick story of what it is. Nate from Iya Terra, Iya Terra was one of my favorite reggae bands. If you guys don't know, all I listen to is reggae right now. And, I'm into bands like Dirty Heads is like my favorite band, of course. But like Stick Figure is amazing. Bands like that, right? And Iya Terra is one of the bands that I'm really into. Like I love their songwriting. I love there's an album that they have. Ease and Grace is like Just an amazing album. And it's so good. I can listen to it over and over again. But anyway, Nate decided to leave Ayaterra, start his own thing. And I don't know the full story. I won't get into it, but he started a band and he called it Aurora Wave. And his handle, his screen name, his username, whatever, what the fuck do you call it on Instagram is Nathan Aurora. So I don't know, he called it Aurora Wave. And the cool thing about Aurora Wave is he mixes in the songs, there's a couple songs. They're just basically, it's basically a reggae album. It's like 85%, 90% reggae. Almost like Ayaterra. Like you can tell he wrote a lot of the songs for Ayaterra. Very similar. But it mixes in some like breakdowns, like metal breakdowns. And there's a couple metal singers that actually get onto it. Okay. But it's kind of a weird mix and I love it. I really think it's great because I love heavy metal breakdowns and I love, that kind of stuff. And then it'll go right into like reggae that I love. So it's kind of like a mix of two genres that I like. And that's why Nate did that, because he has two genres that he likes. But anyway, so I wanted you guys to check this album out because the main reason is not because it's something weird and it's something that, this guy that I've, been into for a really long time is doing a new project. It's not because of that. It's just because these songs are so good and they're positive and they're good. I'm pulling up because I put something down here in some notes about like the names of the songs that I want you guys to go listen to. Okay. But these songs get stuck in my head all the time and I'm constantly listening to this album and it's just called Aurora Wave. Like I said, I'll put it up. But one of the songs that has some of that metal breakdown, it kind of starts out that way and has another metal singer and then he's just like going off. It's called Boiling Point. And Boiling Point is, it's with the Ghost Inside, and that's who's the feature on it. And he just goes off on this song. It's a really great mix of reggae and mix of like metal, right? It's got like a badass metal breakdown. But then there's songs like Meant to Be. It's just such an amazing song. And it basically, what it talks about is if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. You put it out there, things don't happen the right way, it's not meant to be. And that's things I have to look at in my life. Is like sometimes things aren't meant to be, right? But then you go with Stratosphere. It's another great song. It's like, you can tell me that, hey, everything I'm trying to dream about is wrong. It's not going to happen. All my dreams aren't going to come true. My head's in the clouds, but I'm going to be up there in the stratosphere making shit happen, right? It's like, that's the message that a lot of these songs portray. And that's why I wanted to bring it up because that's what I love about it so much. They're not just amazing songs with amazing hooks. And that's what I love about them. And then, Danny was talking about how like they sound like, he doesn't like when like white dudes are sounding like, what about reggae, man? Like that's the roots reggae, right? And this band isn't like that. And so there's nothing like that. You guys hear that? Reminds me of Lake LA. Like it's really windy outside right now. Funny thing is about Utah, I wanted to say this real quick before I finish a little bit of these songs. The funny thing about Utah, yesterday, it was like 62 degrees outside and it was beautiful, right? Not a cloud in the sky, just a beautiful day. We went for a walk. We walked around our apartment complex here like 3 times with the dog. And just a beautiful day. And I woke up to this snow all over the place. Went from beautiful to snow. And this is how it looks today. And it's windy and it's snowing outside again. This looks to be like one of the last snows. Hopefully it's the last snow of the year. But it hasn't been a bad winter. But it's like in one day, and I posted some on Instagram, it was like in one day, it was like snowy, then it was sunny, then it was snowy, then it was sunny again. It was like, what the hell is going on? But yesterday was a beautiful 62, 63 degrees. And then today, overnight, it snowed, and now it's like the picture I'm showing you, white. But it's really windy outside right now. So it just reminds me of Lake LA. I know everyone that grew up in Lake LA had the whistling houses. It was always windy and the houses were whistling like crazy. But anyway, let me get back to me. Let me end this on a little bit more, but I want you guys to check out this Aurora Wave album, just because when it first came out, when I first heard about it, I started hearing song. He released a song and then another song and then another song, and every song was just a banger. And I'm like, man, Nate, this is fucking dope. Like, it's good. And so some of the songs I want you to check out. Okay, Boiling Point. If you like that metal and uh, reggae mix, Boiling Point is perfect. That's with the Ghost Inside. Inferno is a pretty good song. It's with Atreyu, and I love Atreyu. I know a lot of my friends who love metal love Atreyu, so that's a good song to listen to if you love that. But some of the good songs, like Background Noise is with Satsang, and if you don't know, Satsang is another reggae artist, and background noise is just basically talking about like anything people talking about me is just background noise. They can say whatever they want. I don't give a shit what people say about me. It's all background noise to me. So that's the thing. It's like trust and believe, see you around is like, hey, if you ain't coming with me, I'll see you around. And most of these songs are about how a lot of people were talking trash about him leaving like a very, very successful band and trying to start something new. But he wasn't happy with the way things were going. And he took a leap of faith and said, hey, you know, this is what has to happen. And for me in my life, I've taken a lot of leaps of faith. The biggest one was just coming to Utah and just saying, hey, I'm just going to move to Utah. Big leap of faith. And it's worked out for me so far. And sometimes you just got to do things. And like, one of the biggest things that I've been thinking about is like, I don't really care what people say about me. I don't care if people are talking shit like this guy's doing a podcast and this guy's trying to post reels all the time. This guy's trying to do stuff on social media. Like, I don't give a shit what people say. Like, I'm having fun. When I got sober, I said, I'm just going to fucking do whatever the fuck I want. Right. And I said, I'm going to start fucking, I said, hey, I want to do a podcast. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to do a podcast. And like I said, I wanted to try it. And in the beginning, I went back and listened to a couple of my episodes before, and I'm just like, these are trash. But I'm leaving them there because I'm growing with this and I'm doing better. Like, now I do videos, stuff like that. I'm doing a podcast with a friend. I'm going to start doing a podcast with my fiance. We're going to start doing different things, and I'm going to keep going. But anyone that wants to talk shit, they can keep talking shit. It's all background noise to me, buddy. It's all nothing. I don't give a shit. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep going because this is what I like to do. And if anyone has anything to say, you can kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck. And on that note, I will end this. I just want to say thank you guys very much for all the support again, because you guys are really like, you guys are making me feel good about what I'm doing here. So I'm going to continue to do it. And all y'all that don't like it, it's all background noise. Fuck off. Peace.